Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans un nouvel épisode du podcast Learn to French. Je m'appelle Eden et j'enseigne le français. Hello and welcome to another episode on the Learn to French podcast. If you are new here, my name is Eden and I teach French. Today, I would like us to take a closer look into the different French exams that you can take. So you have the DELF, but you also have the DALF, the TCF. So let's try to understand everything in today's episode. Of course, today I am simply mentioning the official tests, the official exams that you can take that are recognized in France and French-speaking countries and that you can use, for example, if you want to live in France or have a residency in France. Before I start, make sure to click on the link in the show notes. That way you can also read everything and save all the information. So the different French exams that you can take today, I would like you to first figure out what you would like to do. So is it to certify, to assess your level in French? Are you simply curious of your level, or do you need a specific test to travel in France or to study? So make sure to write those down, because if you don't really know why you would like to take a French exam, then maybe you don't really need any of those. So we have the first category, which are going to be the DELF and the DALF exams. The DELF, DELF, stands for le diplôme d'études en langue française. So this is a certification that is adapted to your level. C'est un diplôme. This is a diploma, keep in mind. So for the DELF exam, you have different levels. You have the DELF from A1.1 to B2. So this is the Common European Framework levels, so from A1 to C2. The DELF is for A1.1 to B2 learners. Why do you need the DELF? Well, you can need the DELF, for example, if you would like to apply for residency in France. So you need an A2 certification for that. If you want to apply, for example, let's say a 10-year residency permit, you're going to need to attest that you have an A2 level in French at least. You can also do that for French-speaking countries. However, I know that in France, it's at least an A2 for residency, a 10-year residency. You can use the DELF also to enroll in a French university, but you need to at least have the B2 level, or to apply for French citizenship, at least B1. In the DELF series, you have different types of DELF exams. For example, you have the DELF tout public, so all public, all audience, for adults 18 and above who would like to validate their learning of the French language in an official and permanent way. So this will actually give you a diploma that will attest and say, I have this level in French because I have the DELF exam. The DELF tout public is composed of 4 levels, A1, A2, B1, and B2. Now remember, DELF stands for Diplôme d'études en langue française, so study diploma. You also have the DELF Pro, more centered on the professional French and work environment. You can also have the DILF, so Diplôme d'initiation à la langue française, and this is for A1.1 learners in French. This is for those who just begun learning French, and this is the first step before the DELF A1. This is only offered in France, however. And then for children and the teenagers, you have the DELF Prime for children and DELF Junior et Scolaire for teenagers. One thing that you should know is that the validity of the DELF and DALF series of exams is permanent. This means that the certification doesn't expire. They are also delivered by le Ministère français de l'Éducation nationale, so the French Ministry of Education. So this is quite official. You also need to know that since this is a diploma, a preparation is also necessary in order to take the DELF and DALF exams. You have to pay for those, so obviously it's better to be prepared, right? Since the exams are very comprehensive, it's good to know what to expect for each level. You also have the DALF exam, so DALF, which stands for Diplôme approfondi de langue française. So this is the upper level, because the level for this is C1 and C2. So you have two different DALF exams, the DALF C1 and the DALF C2. The C1 and C2 levels are the highest when you're learning a language. Regarding French exams that you can take to certify your level, the DALF C1 and C2 are the best of the best. This is like the top exam that you can reach for French language diplomas. Obtaining a DALF is a guarantee of a very high level of mastery of the French language. If you'd like to enroll in a French university and already have a DALF certification, you don't need to pass any other DELF test or even a TCF, for example, because you already have something that says, oh, you have the C1 or C2 level. I have worked on the C1 and C2 with some students, and yes, it is very challenging. The DELF and the DALF exams are, once again, very comprehensive. They have different skills that they would like to assess. So it's very important for you to practice before taking those exams, the DELF and the DALF. The next exam that we're going to take a look at today is the TCF, le test de connaissance du français. So this is a knowledge test for your French. This you have from A1 to C2. This test is used to evaluate or estimate one's level in French, which is different from the DELF and the DALF. You can take a look at the TCF if you want to apply for residency in France, for example. Now, you will also need an A2 level for the 10-year residency permit, or if you would like to enroll in a French university or to apply for French citizenship, but also different citizenships. So, for example, TCF is also required for Canada and Quebec immigration. The different TCFs that you have TCF A and F. So, for access to French nationality, in order to obtain French citizenship. You have the TCF CRF for the French resident card. You have the TCF TP for tout public, test for teenagers and adults certifying their level in French. TCF DAP for demande d'admission préalable. This is necessary for foreign students entering a bachelor's degree or certain schools in France or in Canada. And you can also have the TCF Q for Quebec in order to be able to expatriate to Quebec. Now, unlike the DELF and the DALF series, the TCF, well, doesn't really require a big preparation. Of course, you can if you want to, but this is a test that will attest your current level in French. So this is not a diploma. This also means that you can have different levels for different skills. So you have your listening comprehension, writing, reading, and speaking. However, you might have, let's say, a B1 level in listening comprehension, but only an A2 in speaking. And this is perfectly fine because this test is here to assess your current level. The validity of the TCF, unlike the DELF and the DALF, expires after 2 years. So it only has a 2 years lifespan. Another test that you can take is the TEF. So, test d'évaluation du français, that goes from A1 to C2 as well. The TEF is one of the French exams that you can take to certify your level of French, just like the TCF. So it is also recognized as part of the process for joining a school or university, obtaining French or even Swiss nationality with the TEF naturalisation, obtaining a resident card in France with the TEF carte de résident. You can also immigrate to Canada and obtain Canadian citizenship with the TEF Canada, or immigrate to Quebec with the TEF Québec. The TEF is also valid for a period of 2 years. Keep in mind that the TEF and the TCF are very similar, but are delivered by different public institutions. So that's the main difference between them. And the last exam that we're going to take a look at today is the DFP, le Diplôme de Français Professionnel. You might not have heard of this before, but this is also one test that you can think of. The level goes from A1 to C1. Since I have been working on this DFP, with some of my students, I wanted to include it in today's list. So you can take the DFP to have a diploma and certify your level in professional French. So this diploma can be recognized worldwide. You have different categories of DFP according to your work environment or your work industry. So you have DFP Affaires, business, Relations internationales, international relations, tourisme, hôtellerie, restauration, so tourism, hotel industry, catering, that's the same category, and santé, health. So the exam will depend on your level, of course, from A1 to C1, and the industry in which you're working, but we'll focus on more practical skills. Since this is like the DELF and DALF, a diploma, it will require some preparation beforehand. I have taken a look at this test with some of my students, and I think it's really practical. I like how it directly talks about work and your different skills that you can have in your work environment regarding French. So you can work on professional emails, or how to present yourself and to introduce yourself in a more professional way, etc. Luckily, the validity of this DFP is also permanent, unlike the TEF and the TCF, which only last for 2 years. So that was it for today. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this short episode. So keep in mind that I simply wanted to talk to you about the official tests, exams that are recognized in France and French-speaking countries. There are many more tests that you can take. However, I'm not sure if they are quite valid and will be recognized if ever you want to immigrate to France or Canada, for example. Cet épisode est maintenant terminé. Merci beaucoup d'être resté avec moi aujourd'hui et je vous dis à très bientôt pour un nouvel épisode sur Learn to French. Au revoir!